Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today on driving efficiency in government using Microsoft 365, Teams, and SharePoint. This is a joint webinar between Crocan Software and Acuity Technical Services. While we're waiting for a few people to arrive here and there, some people are just joining, I'll mention that we do have a questions box in the webinar panel. And you can enter in your questions there. And if we get to them during the webinar, we will. If not, we'll answer them by email afterwards. Also, we'll have a recording available of this, which we'll post up on YouTube and then send a recording as well as follow-up email to everyone who attended and everyone who registered. So we'll get going on it. We have some good material to cover for you. And again, thank you for joining us today for this webinar. I am Scott Restivo. I'm the president and CEO of Crocan Software. We're based in California in the Bay Area, but we also have offices in Rhode Island, South Carolina. We have a group in Australia and a group in India. So we're doing government work all over. I mean, we don't just do government work, we do all industries, but government work in international governments, federal, state, local, all kinds of government projects. And we'll get more into what we do and how Nitro Studio helps power, our Nitro Studio program helps power efficiency and business automation in the government space. But first I want to introduce you to our partners. There's Daryl with Acuity. You want to say hi there, Daryl? Is Daryl there? Daryl, you're on mute. Maybe it's on mute, but Daryl's there. And then also we have Megan from Acuity with us also, and they will be going through what Acuity does and what they bring to the table. First, a little bit about Crocan Software. We have been in business over 20 years, to almost, I think it's our 22nd year. We were founded in 1999, Microsoft preferred partner, California certified small business, we're on GSA, and we've been around a long time doing this for a lot of industries all over the world. We do business applications that are out-of-the-box solutions based in SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, and/or Office 365. We have our Nitro Studio application creation platform for forms and workflows. We build custom solutions, and we're doing work with AI and bot services that help power digital transformation. A lot of orientation these days towards mobile devices, so we're building a lot in that direction. We have an upcoming webinar on 1 week. Is it a week? Yeah, a week from today on why not. It's kind of a in-your-face one from Microsoft a little bit. Why Nitro Studio is better than Power Platform. Well, in some cases it is, and you'll see why if you come to this webinar next week, and how Nitro Studio is a preferred platform for a good number of people over and above what Microsoft put out on the Power Platform. But I'll leave that controversy to next week, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that webinar, so I hope you can join us for that. Now, the Crocan and Acuity partnership, we're both based in California. Acuity's up there in Sacramento area. And we both have the same goals of driving digital transformation in government. Now, like both of us do work outside, both these companies do work outside of government, but this is a government-focused webinar, so we'll focus on that topic specifically. The goal is to empower users, whether it's people inside your company, inside your agency, your organization, or whether it's citizens or people on the outside you're doing services, maybe for like contractors. So it's really about empowering and engaging users. It's about automating processes. It's about replacing legacy solutions that have been there for years, but now they're outdated and need to get rid of them. And they're, a little bit of a hump to get over to move off to these legacy solutions, something we call institutional inertia, to get off that and move forward. And I want to encourage everyone in this webinar to do that and give you the boost you need to get over that and move to the modern, responsive, cloud-based, technologically advanced solutions that we're able to bring to the table. And we want to also enable mobile responsiveness. Like I said earlier, mobile smartphone activity is becoming much and much more popular and predominant, really, in terms of the space, especially for end users who are running around, on Teams or on their mobile apps or whatever. And it's usually the younger generation also that is very much involved in that. The whole goal is to lower costs and operate more efficiently. Obviously, it helps save money, better service to your citizens, better use of taxpayer dollars, and just better overall work experience for everyone involved. And that's what we want to do here. So let's see, I'll bring Acuity into the picture here and they can talk about what they're doing, and then we'll jump back. I'll go back. I'll come back in a moment. So Megan or Daryl, you want to take it from here? And let me know when you
Yeah,
want to change slides, right?
yeah, will do. Thanks for the introduction, Scott. So Acuity Technical Solutions, we are state of California experts. We're a value-added reseller, but we also can assist with state government outside of California and the private sector. So any way we can help, we are more than happy to. Acuity was founded in November 2007, but we have experience selling to the public sector from 1988. So if you need help, we've got you. We know all of the idiosyncrasies that come with selling to the state. We offer 18 CMAS contracts for products specifically. We are the top, we have the most CMAS contracts of any other reseller in the state of California. CMAS is the California Multiple Award Schedule, just for those of you that don't know the acronym. But we also have both an IT and a business CMAS consulting contract. So that would be, you know, if you need statistics help, if you need marketing, and then we can handle IT as well. We also have a TDDC ITMSA contract tier 3, so we can handle projects up to 5 million. Then we have several SLP contracts, one of which is Crow Canyon, who we are a very proud partner of. And last but not least is that we are a California certified small business. So we can meet that requirement for you. And Scott, if you wouldn't mind changing the slide.
Okay, I think it's my turn. This is Daryl Branningham. I am the founder and CEO of Acuity Technical Solutions. We are extremely excited to be on this webinar today and partnering with Crow Canyon and their fantastic solution. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our services that we provide. We've got a couple more slides here. We do IT consulting services. That can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Sometimes it's actually doing just pure consulting, telling the state what they need. Other times it's actually providing consultants to do to be on projects on site at the state or working remotely. We also do product fulfillment services, which has to do with those many CMAS contracts that Megan mentioned and SLP. And that means that we're able to provide software licensing and sometimes hardware as well. IT professional services, again, that covers a lot of maybe more on the infrastructure data center side, where network engineers, systems engineers, that kind of thing. So we do both sides of the house, by the way, software development side and the infrastructure data center side. We also offer business consulting services that are not necessarily IT. They could be related to it, and they might not be related to it. And there's a whole host of capabilities that we can provide for business consulting. And then finally, at the bottom of this slide, you see some of the different areas. I could have listed a lot more, but I didn't want to use up any more space. But suffice it to say, pretty much anything in the area of technical services we can do. And why is that? Well, we attack or move with every project in an area of project management as our core competency. That allows us even to take on technologies that we're not that well versed in, because we can use our core competency of project management and project implementation, integration, that sort of thing, to do most any kind of project that might come along. Next slide, please. Okay, quickly, I'm going to go over our project summaries. And the ones we've listed here are all with the state of California. And they're important. The top ones, and by the way, we are the prime on all these. There are projects that we do from time to time where we're the subcontractor, but most of the time we prime, and we like to do that. We're currently over at DMV doing a couple projects. One would be the IDMV services for the DXP modernization project. This is DMV's very, very large project that they're doing with Deloitte, who's the prime. IDMV stands for Independent Validation and Verification. And basically what we do is we help represent DMV to the prime, make sure the prime does what they're supposed to do. Very important project and very visible. Also at DMV, we have a Snowflake development project going on. DHCS, we have a couple server management people working. They have 500 servers that need to be upgraded, and our staff is doing that. We have a couple projects at CalSTRS. One is a business analysis services project that we've had for years that's been ongoing and even renewed more than once. And the same way with the other CalSTRS project, which is SAP. M&O stands for Maintenance and Operations, SME, Subject Matter Expert. So we provide a subject matter expert over their SAP implementation out there. Over at CARB, which is the acronym for California Air Resources Board, we're doing PHP programming services. At EDD, we have a large quality assurance team doing testing, software testing on a big project over there. We have 6 staff involved in that project alone. The other EDD, we have a project manager and a business analyst working on a little bit smaller project. And then at HCD is the housing and community development at the state of California, and we're doing project management services there. Now we have some significant completed projects that are no longer ongoing, but that were completed successfully. The first one, and important to our discussion today, is the Office 365 modernization project that we did at DMV. This, by the way, also included remote COVID support, because we started the project just a couple of months before COVID hit. And so that brought a new spin or angle to the Office 365 modernization, because we needed to make it work for users remotely, DMV users. So that project was completed in December, and after a couple of years, over $1 million project, and it was quite successful. We're very proud of that. At CPUC, we did an audio visual assessment, and at the Housing Community Development, they have a very large project called CASAS, and we were involved with CASAS 2.0, where we provided business analysis and programming. With that, I'm finished with our slides, and I'm passing this back on to Crow Canyon for the rest of the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Megan and Daryl, for that. That's very good oversight of Acuity, and you certainly have done numerous projects that have been very, very useful and productive for California government as well as others. I might be everybody look at that slide might think what all those acronyms are, but basically they are government agencies. If you work in the government, TLAs, 3-letter acronyms are predominant or ubiquitous. Anyway, here's what we do. I won't go through all this in too much detail because I want to get over to the Nitro Studio stuff and what we're doing. But we're basically, you can feel very confident we're certified in all the government ways that we possibly can. One thing I do want to point out is that we work in the Office 365 commercial cloud, as well as the GCC, the government community cloud, and the GCC High, which is a highly secure version used only in certain defense and military contractor world. So, hey, if you're in those worlds, we're there. We have our solutions up there. All this other stuff's pretty obvious. Certified small business in California, blah, blah, blah. We work with all governments all over the world. So I won't belabor that slide. Just know that, we're fully qualified with government work. We do a lot of it and been quite successful at. Now we run our stuff, our programs, our applications, and our Nitro Studio runs in SharePoint on premises, the 2013, 16, 19. and the new one that just came out recently, the SE, which means subscription edition. So we're fully qualified on the SharePoint on-premises. We work in that. If that's your world, we're there. And here's something very interesting is that Microsoft's Power Platform does not work on premises without some kind of hybrid connectors and all kinds of complexities. So if you're in SharePoint on premises, Nitro Studio and our applications are definitely the way to go. We also offer this Nitro Studio Secure version, meaning that we can put all our stuff entirely within your SharePoint farm, meaning regulatory compliance standards. If you need that level of compliance and that level of regulatory reason, some regulatory reason to put it inside you entirely within your organization, and we run into that also. So whole thing with Crow Canyon, we're flexible to meet the needs of our customers in whatever situations they're in. Microsoft Office is a general view here, as you might well know already. Now we're talking Office 365, which is of course different than SharePoint on premises. They're two different things. But now if you're in the cloud-based Office 365, there's commercial, there's the GCC, and the GCC High. Now we don't work in the DoD because that's really highly specialized, but the GCC High covers most environments that people are into, like contractors for building aerospace equipment and things like that, or military operations. We're in a lot of those organizations. We're in a lot of military, U.S. Navy, Army, Army Corps of Engineers. Anyway, I won't go into all that right now. There's also two levels of Microsoft Azure services: commercial Azure and then Azure Government. So if you want any details on that, just let us know. We'll dig into more, see what you need. That's what we like to have, is conversations one-on-one, and go from there. Then we can talk in more detail about your particular needs. Microsoft has this cloud for government idea of empowering people and enhancing government. So there's a whole bunch of information. I only put it here in case you want to go dig into what Microsoft has to say about their so-called cloud for government, meaning really just a way they're working in the same direction we are, which is to make government operations work better. So let's go see what's going on here. Crow Canyon software, that's kind of a bright slide, isn't it? It can improve government through automation. So what we do here is we replace outdated, inefficient systems. That makes sense, doesn't it? So a lot of people are still using email, spreadsheets, or paper forms to accomplish basic request management, and that's not working very well. Emails get lost in the inbox, spreadsheets, who has it, who's updated it. In a cloud-based world, it just doesn't work. And paper forms, personally, I like paper. I have no problem with paper. You get the pen, fill it out. But in a environment where you're working, trying to collaborate, it's too much shuffling around. Then there's legacy systems, and legacy systems, hey, Lotus Notes, people still using that, believe it or not. InfoPath forms, we do a lot of InfoPath replacement projects. You got InfoPath forms where the guys talk to. SharePoint workflows, Microsoft's always deprecating or moving beyond 2010 workflows, 2013. You always get a notice like, hey, these are no longer going to be used. And you're like, what? How'd that happen? So you could be caught there's a saying for that, but caught like in a bad situation with your legacy systems. Microsoft Access forms, well, boy, people still use those. We had one where the Microsoft Access guy finally retired after like 30 years, and then they finally decided that was the time to replace the Access forms. Like, oh, well, gonna wait till the guy retires? It's kind of crazy. Enterprise software, expensive, overkill, lack of customization. So all these problems are solved by moving to the cloud-based, whether it's SharePoint on premises or Office 365, moving to the modern, responsive. If you're on Office 365 cloud-based solutions, mobile-friendly, I mean, you got to get beyond the older technologies to drive business transformation and efficiency in your operations. Like I said, we're InfoPath replacement experts. We've done a number of projects, large projects, hundreds and hundreds of forms, and we have a whole book on it, and you can dig into that on our website. Love to talk to you about it. One of my favorite things, I don't know how many webinars I've done on it over the past 4 or 5 years, and it's quite an interesting subject. Okay, so what we're doing with government, how do you improve government through automation? Well, here's kind of some high-level views. You want to improve operational efficiency? That sounds great. How do you do it? Well, you automate common functions, automate the requests that are coming in, get off emails and spreadsheets. get off of legacy solutions, get automation going in. Automation is really driven by our workflows. Our workflows, you have a form or some way of entering information, but then the workflows automatically take it through to the next step, like automatic assignment, escalations, notifications when the ticket's getting overdue, a request not been serviced properly. These are all improve operational efficiency. And if you could get the message out to multiple sources through, somebody gets a text on their phone, or they get an email, that they get some message in Teams that something is due and needs to be attended to, then you're going to improve your operational efficiency and be able to respond quicker to whatever request the people are making. I mean, if you're denying it or you're approving it, or you need to take some further action on that request, such as a purchase, you might want to approve it and then have to go over to purchasing and that kind of thing. It's, if you do it automation through the software we provide, that's going to help a lot in saving time and cost. We facilitate collaboration, meaning that, they call it breakdown cross-agency silos. It sounds great. Kind of one of those, geeky kind of statements there. But the point is that if you're breaking down community, the whole idea is like looking at the organization or the agency you're in as kind of a holistic point of view, that we're all working together to make this happen. And through better collaboration and breaking down these so-called silos, then and where information is available, then you have that better way of moving forward and working together. And that's really important, especially with remote work, where people can get kind of like off on their own tangents, And then of course replace outdated systems. I could say that like every slide in this, because that is really where it's at in a lot of ways, is that people get stuck on some kind of system that they've had, they use it, institutional inertia we call it. As I said earlier, also users are used to something. It's hard to change. It's the same thing in your personal life, right? You used to doing something a certain way, but in an organization it becomes even more predominant that you want to, take the effort or make the initiative to move off it. Because a lot of times if you don't, then what happens is at some point you get kicked off that anyway. You get a notice from the manufacturer that they no longer support it, or it's just outdated. You're missing out on the latest technologies and all that. It's like driving this old car, doesn't have the backup camera, it doesn't have Bluetooth anymore. I was driving a car like that last week. I'm like, what? It's from 2010. It's not even that old, but it didn't have Bluetooth. How am I going to? I got to hold the phone to my ear. I mean, it didn't have a backup camera. I got to turn my head and look around. I mean, this is so with some kind of rent-a-car. So I was like, wow, this is old school. My car is nothing fancy, but it does have the backup camera and it does have the Bluetooth. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing you think about when you upgrade to modern responsive solutions. I know we're not driving cars, talking about software, but the same ideas apply, right? So that's what we're doing here. And what is Nitro Studio? First, what is Nitro Studio is the question. Well, Nitro Studio is this forms and workflow platform we provide to make it so that you can build applications and solutions on top of your Office 365 or SharePoint on premises. Is it like Power Platform? Sort of, but we think it's better, and you can find out next week why we think it's better in our webinar. That's a little challenge there, and people see, put ourselves out there and see, there's a lot of reasons. And one of them is that Crow Canyon, it's a smaller company than Microsoft. Imagine that, right? Smaller than Microsoft. So we provide excellent support. We're really in tune with our customers. We're more in the trenches with them, more personal support. So that's one huge advantage, is that we can really help you and be attentive to your needs. Particularly, just like Megan and Daryl saying about Acuity, the same idea is that they are attentive to their customers. They work with them closely. It's the whole idea of that, small is beautiful. I don't know, small is effective in the sense of being able to provide the kind of personal support and attention you need. You just try to call up some of these people these days, and the Bank of America or some airline, you never get through, right? I mean, that's right. So, but with us, they're there. We have, various channels to communicate with us through chat, calls, emails. I mean, we're there to help out, and we realize that that's a very, very important part of any kind of relation with our customers, is to do that. Anyways, what we also bring to the table are advanced workflows that you can design your workflows to be the way you need to be for your operations to be automated and efficient. We have dynamic forms, we have mobile solutions, we can generate documents from process intelligence, connect all these things that I go into all these, but I don't want to go like be blah blah blah, read a slide to you. So I'm going to go into a little different approach here and say, look, our Nitro forms are dynamic. They're responsive, means they show up on mobile quite nicely. You have templates you can use over and over again. We'll link items together. You can pull information from other sources and show it in your forms. You can have repeating rows, custom actions, portal interfaces, database integration, electronic signatures. The deal is we've been doing this for over 20 years, very successful in business process automation on the Microsoft collaboration platforms, SharePoint, Office 365, whatever, Teams, and we can do this for you also. And you know, it's time to talk with us about that, find out how to get rid of, here I go again, replace legacy systems, right? And also drive further efficiency in your organization through really what's, in my mind, kind of fun to do. I mean, I mean, I like it, enjoy it. And I think you too, when you see that something gets a better way of doing things, it's, you know, like, you know, it's kind of fun. So, okay, our Nitro workflows and custom actions, you know, we can do simple or complex workflows. We can automate processes, approvals, escalations, auto assignment, task management, notification alerts. You really build these like really efficient, dynamic solutions that solve the problem. So it's like anything. You know, you say, okay, here's the situation in my organization, my agency. Here's what we need to do. Here's what we'd like to do, and can it be done? Well, you know, there's a little, you take SharePoint or you take Office 365 and Teams, and you know, it's like, how do you make all this work together? Well, or you know, companies like Crow Canyon and also Acuity, our partner there, has been, you know, we've been doing this for years, so we're here to help out, make you design a good solution, cost-effective solution that's going to be a benefit, and also it's effective for the end users to use. And one thing that we're very conscious about Crow Canyon is, how do you make something that's, how do you make the form and the interface, whether it's a portal, we're going into bots in the Microsoft Teams world, things like that. How do you make it so you're engaging and empowering users with a really efficient UI UX for them to work with? And that's, you know, question for every agent. Every agency is a little different organization. They got, some people have people only want to send in emails. Other people want to use forms. Other people are very friendly towards Teams. We cover all those bases. And once the information comes in, the second step is how do you automate and streamline operations? And that's what this workflows and custom actions do. So that when you get that information, hey, I want to purchase a laptop and it costs $800, you know, does it have to be approved by this manager, that manager? No one has to think about it because it's all programmed in, and it goes right to that manager and says, hey, you got a request to, you know, your employee or the person who works for whatever is needs to know whether, you know, you approve this purchase of a laptop or not. And then once you approve it, automatically goes over to the purchasing. And same with leave requests, vacation requests. It could be an access request to get into how, you know, access to a building or access to a database. Any kind of thing like that can be automated. And now what we also have in Nitro Studio is a visual workflow designer. If you get involved with that, it's quite fun to play with and move all the boxes around and create workflows. What else is in Nitro Studio? We have portals, reports, and dashboards. And I should point out, reporting and dashboards, very important part of an application, because what you do is you drive continuous improvement. Now, you don't just like do requests or do tickets and stuff. You got to go to the next step, which is that how does this inform my, how does it inform us so that we can make it better? How can we drive continuous improvement, right? So you look back and say, well, we had like 43 tickets about blah, blah, blah last month. Why was that? Well, maybe there's some kind of underlying problem you want to solve. You know, you get reports and dashboards. You look at it and you do these CAPAs, you know, corrective action, preventative action. You do change management control like that, and you go back and circle back. You know, that's an important part of our applications, that you're driving a continuous cycle of improvement. So you're not just running through the mill, you know, all scatterbrained and all that. But what's happening is you are actually using this information to drive improvement. Well, it could be, we always say, one of four problems. It could be hardware problem, needs upgraded or it's outdated. It could be a software problem. It could be a process, a procedural problem that needs to be updated, or quite often, as you know, we find it's usually the fourth thing is the users. You know, problem exists between user and keyboard, between chair and keyboard or something like that. Anyway, the problem is like with users, maybe they need training, maybe, you know, there's some kind of issue with that. Anyway, so if you identify the problem with hardware, software, procedures, or user base, then you can continue to drive this cycle of improvement and drive further efficiencies and productivity gains and cost savings, really. Also, we also have AI services, lists, how to format lists, email managers and synchronization, print managers to generate documents of any type. Really nice looking templates of invoices, purchase orders, government documents, all kinds of fun stuff you can do with that. So what I want to do here, because it's been 30 minutes already, is jump into a little bit of Nitro Studio and talk a little about what we're doing here. This is an access request system that I put together just for a kind of demo purposes. We're looking at it into classic mode. If you're familiar with SharePoint, it has classic and modern approaches. So here's a modern look at same program in a modern view. It's, modern or classic, two different ways of looking at it in SharePoint. And if you look at like the form, you can pop up a form here, and you have a form. Now you can design these forms to be different ways you want to do it, different styles of it. And I click that? I guess not. There we go. And the form is built in our Nitro app, our Nitro Studio. So underlying this program is our Nitro Studio over here, the access request system, and in it is a form designer, a workflow designer, report designer, all these different things you can do. Now that is if you are, what's going on with this? Let me refresh this page. If you are, sorry, if you are, want just an out-of-the-box application, we provide that also. We have a help desk that's really very useful, an asset management program, a purchase request program, all kinds of programs that are very useful right out of the box, or you can go in and design it yourself. Like for instance, if you want to go and have a particular form that you want to make up, we have this form designer to help you do that. And here's the access request system itself, access request form. And just to give you a taste of the forms designer and the type of things we're doing here in our Nitro Studio thing. So here's like a list form, and you go in and design this form any way you want. And you can preview it while you're going along, see what it looks like in different form factors. Here, in the desktop, in the tablet, in the mobile device. Of course, we designed a little different for mobile device. This one isn't designed for mobile, but you can see what it looks like in a mobile device, and do all kinds of things like have dynamic forms and things where it will show up different sections depending on what choices are made otherwise. You can also have different tabs show up based on different selections, all kinds of stuff, things you can do. SQL tab showed up, which wasn't there previously. I mean, all kinds of, there's so much you can do with these forms and how you want them to look. And this is just an example of the many different things you can do, to make it look how you want it to look. Kind of a potpourri of form design here. It's like just, put whatever we want into it. And then it shows you what different possibilities are with it. So if this stimulates your interest at all, then get in touch with us and we'll get you going with a Nitro Studio demo of this particular form designer, as well as the workflow designer. We also have the custom actions. You can, let me do it this way, because from a custom action, from a form, you can design your custom actions, because these mean buttons on top of the form. So you have a form and you have an escalate on there, and then when you go look at the custom action, you can design your custom action the way you want. In this case, escalate does, what does it do? Let's take a look. Escalate will do these a variety of actions right here. It will set priority to high, then email to manager, and automatic assign it when it's SQL, but it will ask for you to, it depends on the SQL, take different actions on whether you want to assign it or auto assign it when it's not SQL. When it's SQL, you want to assign it to somebody particular. Anyways, you can have a whole variety of actions that you can do there to make it happen. And if we look at the designer interface, again, it's the workflow designer that I was showing you earlier in the slides, and you come here and you can start to build your workflow how you want and put in like different kinds of controls and gateways and stuff, and have it branch off into different directions. So again, this is not something that I'm going to spend a lot of time on this webinar, but I just want to give you a taste of what the possibilities are. See how it's starting to branch into different directions. So you design these really nice workflows, and that's how you're automating processes in the modern world of application design. So that's one thing that we can do. I have no idea why when I click it, it doesn't come up. It's so weird. But anyway, who knows, you know, it's, so maybe purchase request system is a little different. Let's see if this one's going here. Okay, there it goes. Hey, something weird with that page. Hey, it's called demoitis, right? That's what happens. So here's a form that we have, the purchase request form, and somebody's making a purchase request. What's really cool about this, actually, this purchase request program that we have going, is that we have a Nitro Engage bot right here. It runs in Teams. This is on a desktop, because as well as run on a mobile or a tablet. And what you can do is say, oh, I want to make a new purchase. Okay. What's funny is you can even do these words so that if someone mistypes it, it still comes up. It's just a, you know, it's like a placeholder for pulling up a form inside of Teams. And you can do this on a mobile device, like I said. So you got a new purchase request. What are you going to buy? You're going to buy a new Dell computer, right? Type of purchase, it's a hardware purchase. I mean, of course, you can change these to be whatever you want as far as drop lists and that kind of thing. So we're looking at the Dell 1500 here laptop, and it's for the IT department. And reason for purchase is, what's the reason? I need a new one, right? I need a new one. What do you think? So then you go down over here, and a quantity, one, settle one. Again, it's form highly customizable according to exactly how you want it. This is an example. I do submit it in to the system through the Teams. Here we go. Submitted for admin account. That's who I'm logged in as. And here's all the stuff I just entered. I could view it here, add a comment. So his purchase request was created successfully. And now what's the tricky thing here, if I get the right browser up, there's a completely different browser going on here. We're in James's browser. He should get a card saying that it's needed for approval, that he's supposed to approve this. Let's see if that shows up here in his Nitro bot. So he's on Teams. He's just sitting there, you know, doing something, maybe at the airport or whatever, and he'd get a notice that this needs approval. It was submitted successfully. It shows up here in the back end of the system. You know, it's a new request inside of SharePoint, inside the SharePoint list. There's a new request here. To refresh it to see it, new Dell computer. I just entered that, right? You saw me do it. Pending approval, $800. Need a new one. It's all there. Let's go back to James. James is supposed to get a card. There it is. Well, there it is. I guess I didn't scroll down far enough. But James, as the manager of admin account, these imaginary accounts we're dealing with in this demo, he gets this thing that says, hey, this guy or woman, you know, person wants to buy a new Dell computer, whatever, need a new one. You click here to look at it if he wants, then he has a choice to approve, deny, or send back like for more information or whatever. So he's going to approve it. Okay, okay by me. You know, whatever way you approve these things. And then it says approved. Okay, it's been approved, purchase request approved. I mean, he's not engaging with SharePoint here at all. He's just doing it all through Teams. And then over here on our Teams here, he will get a message that says it's been approved and be able to, you know, from that point forward, this would be approved, and then it would go through whatever process is next on the, you know, whatever you design in your workflow. That designer I just showed you, right? Whatever that designer is, I'll show you that. So let's see what if it's been approved. You need a new one, you need an IT approval, and whatever process you want to take from them forward. I think we had, if I remember right, we had something going where, see, it says, here's the card he got. It took a minute or what, a minute, even less. But anyways, he got a card that it was approved. And good, he's going to get his new computer. He's all happy. Now, in Teams, I believe we had this purchasing thing going where it would send a notice to purchasing that there was an approval. Let's see if it did. Yeah, right? No. anyway, if it's not set up in the bot, we could. I should have looked at this before the webinar. But basically, we were doing it previously that we would send a message to Teams, to the Teams channel, like the purchasing channel, if you're using that. Otherwise, you can send an email right to the purchase and procurement department if you wanted, that it's been approved. So they can download the email, take a look, whatever. So it all works like that quite well into this seamless system of that's a purchase request system there. You open it up, take a look at it, all the information's there. So whatever you want to do it, you want to go through Teams, you want to go through the backend SharePoint, list, whatever works. But now you can see that this item of a Dell Inspiron for $800 has been approved. It was approved by James, okay by me, all that information is there, right? So it's pretty cool. That's the kind of system we have out of the box. We also, if you wanted to build something similar for a different kind of request management, you can take Nitro Studio and do that. What we find with government, there's a zillion forms, and people, not all of our out-of-box solutions will meet the exact needs of the government situation. So we make the forms, make the Nitro Studio available so you can build the kind of particulars, idiosyncratic workflows you need for your agency. And what we do with that is people get like Nitro Studio for their tenant or their farm. They can build as many sites, as many lists as they want, get some training from us, and you're good to go pretty much. You have a lot of support from us on how to do it. And we have a number of agencies who have been successful in that world. Let's see, let's go back to the PowerPoint here. Where was it? It's here somewhere. And bring it's probably right behind, right? Yeah. So we're going to go here and move ahead with the PowerPoint. Come on, Mr. PowerPoint. There it is. And talk about this agency, Spokane Regional Health District, up in part of Spokane County in Eastern Washington. They're on Office 365. They're in the GCC High, doing a lot lately with healthcare, for both the county and the city of Spokane. And they are using our programs quite successfully up there. And they use Nitro Studio for replacing InfoPath, for SharePoint 2010, 2013 workflow retirement, and they're building a lot of forms and workflows, automating processes using Nitro Studio. A lot of success they're having with it. I think there's a case study online that we have about this. Can other people hear me? Because some people said they can't hear me all of a sudden. Did I go, did something go wrong? Carolyn, can you hear me? Ooh.
Hey, Scott, this is Daryl. I can hear you.
Okay, thanks, Daryl. Somebody said that, I guess maybe one person lost the connection. And we'll get to the question. I see there's a few other questions. All right. So we're saying, I just, obviously I don't want to be talking into the void here. So anyway, Spokane Regional Health District, they do use Nitro Studio for InfoPath replacement, workflow retirement, building forms and workflows. They use some of our applications. They have kind of a combo. They use some out-of-the-box applications like Help Desk and Project Management, and they use our Nitro Studio. They're using Microsoft Teams, which has been adopted quite readily by the remote workforce, and they're using our bots. They're starting to move more and more in that direction. Now, another agency that's been using it is the one Daryl talked about earlier, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB as they call it. The problem, they were using an outdated access database and paper processes. And there were a lot of problems with that process. They came in on paper, routed for approval. All the data had to be manually entered into a database. You can't check, users couldn't check the status of their request. Well, I could show you in the bot, you could check the, you could check the status in 2 seconds, as they say, using the Nitro bot. You just bada bing, there it is. Access database was on a shared drive that IT no longer supported, and the developer is retiring. That the guy left after X number of years. And let me make sure I got yeah, okay, everybody says they can hear me. Good, got to hear me. So the goal here was to improve service and reduce costs for these 3 areas: work order management, fleet tracking, and request management. And then we're able to provide the solution of implementing our out-of-the-box applications, our work order, our equipment tracking, and request management, and they've experienced substantial financial gains while also providing better service by reducing staff time spent entering information into databases, preventing data loss, get rid of an outdated database, and quicker responses to customer inquiries. That's one example, and I'm just going to segue for a moment over to this and look at the bot again, because it's kind of fascinating that they're saying they couldn't check the status. Well, if you're in your bot, you just want to look at your status of commands here. Let me go this way because I don't know the exact. But one thing that helps drive efficiency is having information readily available to everybody who needs to have it at your fingertips. There's some principle in that in the business world. Anyway, if you want to view your open requests and you want to know the status, just go here, go to the bot, and there it is. Here's the new Dell computer has been approved, right here, and you click it open. Purchase order 182 here, and it's been approved. Status is approved. I mean, that's compare that to having to call up and figure out what was done, how it's done, was it the user has to wait for a response, somebody on the staff has to respond to the person, where you just go to that bot and bada bing, you have your status right there. So one of those many ways that our programs improve efficiency in an organization. We also work with Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, the bus system in San Jose area of the Bay Area, South Bay, and they use both Office 365 and SharePoint. It's a large organization with multiple environments going, so they do have both of those, Office 365 and 2013. They developed a fully integrated help desk and actually they actually have 50 help desks for different departments to provide ticket tracking. Like I said, it's a large organization, and they have the admins can create forms and workflows with no coding, and they automated a large number of business processes to enact with the help desk using desktop, tablet, and mobile. So it's quite a successful implementation there. Another one was a DSS, Department of Social Services in California. They implemented Nitro Studio. They got off legacy systems like paper, spreadsheets, SharePoint workflows, InfoPath. Hey, this seems to be a common theme we're talking here of getting off legacy solutions, moving to modern solutions. They're fully integrated Office 365, SharePoint, and Microsoft Teams. And here's the big kicker here: they saved over $75,000 per year because they were trying some other solution that didn't work so well. It was like one of those expensive enterprise kind of solutions, and they came to us and said, "Why $75,000 they saved over the previous one?" And the funny line that we had internally was like, "Well, I guess we should have charged more for our stuff. We should have charged more for Nitro Studio." But anyway, we didn't, and they're saving over $75,000 a year or more. Who knows how much? So you see that this is we're talking about something that really needs to be considered seriously by your agency and organization. I know there's a lot of institutional inertia, there's management resistance, there's user resistance, but it's really important to push forward with the positives that can be gained from these kind of solutions. And to know that other agencies are doing it, other government entities are doing it, and doing it successfully. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and buy, the most expensive, fancy solution. Programs like ours, Nitro Studio, and our out-of-the-box applications, as well as experienced implementers like Acuity Technical Services, we can provide a very cost-effective solution, very cost-effective. And not only that, the fact that it's going to save you money, but also save you a lot of time, a lot of resources, and provide better service for your organization. So it's an investment of some reasonable amount, but the benefits you get from it are quite substantial. And it's long term. Some of these systems that people have been using have been in there for 10 to 15 years, and they get outdated. It's time to move on. So once you get our systems in place, they're running on Office 365, you're setting yourself up well for the future, especially with our work on AI services and bots and things like that. So you're making an investment that's going to last for quite some time, we believe. And we're here to keep forward and move things forward. We have our Nitro Studio with all the elements I talked about. We have all our out-of-the-box business applications ready to go, and a lot of them listed here. So we're here to help out. Now, what I want to do, the other slides are about the bot, which I already covered, so I won't go into that bot. But here's a little bit about to learn more. But meanwhile, I'll take a look at the questions and see if I can answer those. How do you vet your supply chain? Are you CMMC certified? Oh, she's left anyway. So what I'll do is talk to her after. Okay. It looks like Okay, somebody wants to book some time with us. Good. So we'll talk, a little busy they're saying with summer vacations, but it looks like in the next few weeks we can arrange a time. So again, I would encourage anyone who is looking to be kind of an innovator, somebody's going to move their agency forward and help move it to the modern era, or just plain frustrated with the current solutions, to get in touch with either us here or Acuity, and we will help you have these one-on-one conversations, have these talk about what your needs are, and if we can find a good solution that works and it's going to fit into your organization, your agency, going to help you improve, like we've done for both Acuity has done. Acuity had a long list of agencies, and Crow Canyon the same thing, large number of agencies that we can help you with. We're like Daryl said, this is what we do night and day. This is what we're told, we're experts in, and we've done it for many, many organizations, fully qualified and certified as need be by all these different things, all the whole alphabet of acronyms there. And here's a number of agencies we already work with. Some I listed today, but you can see there's a large number here: federal, city, and even other government like counties and things like that across the country, school districts, even like Virginia Spaceport, believe it or not. So they're taking Nitro to space, to infinity and beyond, right? That's a good one. I'll have them take a Nitro when they do a liftoff. Maybe they could put a Nitro t-shirt or something. I don't know. Take us to space, infinity and beyond. So anyway, you can see there's a lot of places we're working with, and this is I don't think I include too much of a foreign government. Faroe Islands is out in England, UK somewhere. These guys are in New Zealand, but we're doing a lot with Australia these days too. So that's a big factor. All right, what I'll do here is I think we're at like 50 minutes or so, time to end the webinar. But I would encourage anyone who's interested to book some time with us, talk about your needs, explore our websites, look at Nitro Studio in more depth, see what Acuity can provide or we can provide, and take the step forward to move into the digital era of digital transformation and modern solutions. So I want to thank everyone for attending. I want to thank Daryl and Megan for participating and sharing their insights and their experience with Acuity. And hopefully it's been a beneficial webinar for everyone. Again, thank you. And we'll be doing a follow-up email as well as send you a link to the recording. So everyone have a good day and good summer, and appreciate your attending this webinar. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.